Hello AP Biology students, let's go over the 7th section in Unit 8. And we're actually going to add a section here from our original list. We're going to add a section here on human impacts. The reason why I'm adding this section is typically I go over like climate change and things like this in a separate PowerPoint in my classroom, but instead what I'm going to do is just add it in here into a small section. Within this section, we're going to look at how humans are interacting with their environment and just the not great ways that we are treating our Earth. Habitat destruction is our first way, and this is just obviously how humans are using the environment for our benefit. However, this is causing the habitats of certain species to be eliminated. This can be because of things like deforestation, urbanization, agriculture, but basically this leads to less biodiversity in our ecosystems, and obviously this is a problem because higher biodiverse ecosystems are a stronger ecosystem. So for example, when we go into different environments and we, clear cut, we take out major ecosystems for housing, for cities, for, whatever we're building, this is really impacting our ecosystems and our biodiversity. Yes, this gives us more opportunities and growth as a species. However, we need to weigh that with what is this doing to our environments, because what it does to environments is going to also directly impact us. The next topic here is climate change, and this is obviously the long-term shifts in the Earth's temperature due to human activity. This is mainly caused by us burning fossil fuels, but it's also caused by other aspects of our daily lives. You can see in this graph that the temperature has been increasing over the past 200 years. The reason behind this temperature increase is because all of the carbon dioxide that we're adding to the atmosphere is a greenhouse gas, and it's just trapping the heat in our Earth. Now, I want to make sure we understand that the greenhouse effect is a good thing to have, but like I tell my students, too much of a good thing is a bad thing. It's good that we have the greenhouse effect and that we are keeping our Earth warm, but when we're doing it at the level that we're doing it now, it is causing major effects in ecosystems around the world. Next, we have something called biological magnification. This is where harmful chemicals and pesticides are going to make their way up through the food chain and eventually lead to the top level organisms having this really toxic or really high amounts of toxins in their bodies. This is magnified because, again, we have maybe just a little bit of it in our water system, but as we travel up the food chain, it's going to concentrate more and more because these organisms are going to eat the lower levels, and eventually when we get to the top, we have this high amount of toxin in the organism. And when we as humans eat these organisms that are the top level organisms, we then can see problems because we're eating and ingesting a lot of these toxins. Next, we have invasive species, and these are just non-native species that drastically alter the food web of an ecosystem. They're basically transported usually by humans to a new environment that doesn't have like a predator, or they just aren't naturally from. And these species will really overtake that environment and cause major shifts in the food webs and food chains. These again are normally caused by humans transporting animals or letting animals go into environments they're not normally found. And then again, we see damage that is just in the billions sometimes in certain areas because of these invasive species. Lastly, we're going to talk about endangered species. These are just species that are at the risk of going extinct. And there are a lot of major factors that go into a species becoming endangered. These can be like habitat destruction, the climate change we've talked about, invasive species, diseases. But basically, these species are at the risk of going endangered because of many factors, not usually just one. Now, there are major efforts to save these species because we don't want to see species go extinct because this lowers the biodiversity of an ecosystem. But whenever these species don't recover or can't recover, they typically become extinct, and this again is bad for our biodiversity.